Although what else can the TV watch?
Why don't we open up the meeting? Lots of,
We have full board, right?
happy people here. So, let's see, what we got going? So, we got 3 things on the agenda. I usually take them in reverse order. Might as well do that, just because, actually I'll take them out of order. The first thing is, I believe Sue and Matt are the last, Matt Fricker are the last, board members to confirm that they have thoroughly reviewed the FAQs regarding the Maine Freedom of Access Act. Can we confirm that?
Confirm, I've done
Excellent. So as a board, we have complied with our obligations to be thoroughly aware and familiar with the FOAA.
I would have told you earlier that it was in the violation.
I agree. And it would have taken a lot of the drama out of this moment. So that's great. And the only thing that, and I said this before, the only thing that I wanted to make sure we're super careful about is the email discussions amongst board members. That's so easy to do, and let's just try very hard not to do that. The next issue is the ramifications of the town meeting. If there's anything that needs to be addressed, we should address it. Is there anything that anybody needs to address coming out of town meeting?
No, I wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gary, congratulations, good stuff.
Thank you.
So, one obvious question is whether or not Gary's elevation to selectman impacts any of his business in front of us. And I heard, I don't know what, I heard that you guys asked the town attorney about this or something, and they said there's no issue, or
Maine Municipal.
Maine Municipal Association. So what did they say?
He's a private citizen right now.
Not now, oh,
Wait,
when he's over there.
right now, he's a private citizen in front of you guys.
Yeah.
So there's no conflict of interest. But if anything comes to the Board of Selectmen, has something to do with the campground, he's gonna have to recuse himself from setting on, any issues on it.
Okay.
And wait, who did you say you spoke to, about which lawyer?
Maine Municipal.
Oh, thanks.
We give you guys an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and stuff with everything from Maine Municipal on there. You don't have that now?
That might have disappeared that night.
That was the same
I know we got it, so if we need another copy, so put your minutes or something.
Well, Gary,
wear different hats when you're,
Gary was, selectman, and, John Doyle has a portion of its business here in Baldwin, and,
Yeah, I mean, there's precedent. Just for the record, I mean, I think in the past, Joe has appeared on the other side of the table on behalf of his property. Nickel actually appeared on.
board member.
You weren't a board member? Flint, I
You guys
think.
inspired me to become a board member.
Excellent.
Great experience.
Bob Flint was,
Yeah.
he got a permit. I think he was a selectman at the time. And as Joe mentioned, Gary and Dodge Oil, not you, Gary,
Gary was there.
So it's not without precedent that people sit on other sides of the table. And really the conflict, I think, has to do with him and the selectmen if they have to address stuff that deals with Scott Efron, Nature's Wilderness, etc. Not our stuff. So, anything
Can I
else?
ask a question of curiosity?
Yeah,
So there are 3 selectmen?
there are.
So if you recuse yourself and there's 2 other ones and they vote on something, what happens if they don't agree?
I don't know. They always agree, so it's never been a problem.
Okay. Then I'll let them figure it out.
Yeah, they can figure it out. But I think they probably look for consensus. So, let's see, anything else from the town? I can't think of anything else. Okay, so,
Was it well moderated?
we did,
Okay.
it was a tough job.
Moderated, okay. Okay.
It was B minus maybe.
Oh, really?
I'm
I'm glad I missed
that's
it.
a stretch.
I'm glad I missed it.
Maybe C plus.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Chasing kids around in the woods.
Okay. I felt like I was too. Not a lot different.
Okay, I found that.
So the third item we have, well, actually, we have this letter from the Maine Historical Preservation Committee. Is there anybody who has a connection with the Baldwin Historic Society that may want to answer the questions on this?
I'm a member.
Maybe you could see if the Baldwin Historic Society wants to answer their questions. It has to do with whether or not there's things being preserved in our town.
Well, you know, I could pass it over here
You were gonna do that.
to the wife of the president.
Okay, excellent. It'll save us the mailing cost. He's probably far more capable than I am to answer those historic preservation questions. So the last item is nature's wilderness. So Gary pulled me aside, I think on the town meeting, and said that he believed that his folks, his representatives had exceeded expectation, and that they were able to prepare the final, I guess I won't even put it in quotes, so the final CUP application, and he wanted to present it to us tonight, so we would have an opportunity to review it over the next 2 weeks, and then come back at the March 28th meeting to discuss whether or not we believe the application was complete. Complete, when we say it's complete, that has ramifications in terms of timing of the ordinance. We've talked about that a few times. It doesn't mean we have to say it's complete on the 28th. It just gives us a chance to look it over, because it's rather thick. And I said more than happy to have that discussion with you, but it's going to be short, because I don't necessarily want to get into a ongoing, what seems to happen is we keep talking about this over and over and don't really have any sort of finality in our discussion. So I was hoping we didn't have a long discussion about it. So with that as kind of a preface, Gary, do you have the final CUP app? Okay. How many copies did you bring?
I believe there was 10 copies with maps. I have a couple extra paper copies here.
I did. I think, how much paperwork should we have? One of these, one of these, one of these.
Put together in packets.
I like this, it's kind of thin, that's nice. I do like that. Where is this?
That's just a big copy of the same map that's in here.
Oh, okay.
There is one typo already.
Okay.
That I'm gonna have to rectify.
Well, why don't you just tell us what it is, and we'll handwrite it on our copies, so we don't get, because I don't necessarily want a new copy.
It's on the front page.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Okay.
It's
The other engine you found.
it says 179 acres,
Yeah.
and it's actually 157.
Where?
157, so we're looking second paragraph,
170.
second line, third from the last, in the second line, it says 179 acres, it should say 157 acres.
Because it was 179, including the land on the south side of the pond.
I was right there.
But we're not doing anything on the south side of the pond now. It's all to the project site area right now, 157 acres.
Okay.
Survey or something to confirm this 41 acres. I just am stunned at the idea that Marston Pond is 41 acres.
I think that's the piece that shows it.
Oh, all the land
The acreage
around
of
it
layout,
too,
yes.
plus the pond?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's that
Yeah.
extended.
It was like previous project site, that was 41 acres, not the pond itself, no.
The copy of this go to Lee Feldman?
I believe so, yes. Jeff was supposed, well, John was supposed to take care of that, and Jeff.
Awesome. So you say that the bigger packets of maps are just larger copies
They're
of the.
updated maps, because before you asked for a legend and a key showing types of sites.
So this big packet here is the same thing as this,
Yes,
just bigger,
absolutely.
but the maps are updated. Yeah, okay. Alright. Excellent. Okay, so this is their final submission. Excellent. And a list of attachments is on the back. Dwight, do we have an agreement regarding the road yet?
Haven't got that.
When is that coming?
We'll have to work with him.
I got one more thing I wanna add to the road.
Yeah,
I've mentioned it before. I put together a piece of paper that says, I, a Button landowner of Marston's Road, do not oppose Nature's Wilderness repairing the town road, Marston's Road, to town standards and meeting all town
yeah,
setbacks.
yeah.
I've got all the residents to sign it. I have one more signature to get. He's out of town, meeting him on Saturday.
Okay.
So, I'll
Yeah, I'd give that to them, but you can give it.
this is like a gentleman's agreement showing that they don't oppose to us.
Sure.
So I mentioned it to Joe before,
Okay.
so once you guys know, I'll be with it.
Yeah, that agreement regarding the road
Has to do with.
will be necessary to be complete.
Yep.
So,
But you're saying the agreement with the town, not with the neighbors, just to be clear.
yeah, he knows what they're.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is mostly just a gentleman's agreement showing that
He's just
I
excited. He's
love
getting.
it.
I know, I was just making sure we're all clear on what
He's
you're
at a
saying.
point, he's come so far. So that's a big one for completeness, is that agreement, whatever, I don't even know.
That's
I
got,
don't even care what it says, frankly, you just need it.
that will include the bone.
Yeah.
that's what's holding us up is the bond on my part.
Cool.
We agree with the
If we're gonna point out things that we quickly saw were not included,
yeah,
I believe,
Go ahead, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I believe Lee said we'd like drawings of a typical campsite, a typical cabin.
They're in the plan.
they're in here,
I didn't see it, I'm sorry, I looked through quickly, so then, where is it?
the map,
The map. Is it like a rectangle and a triangle or? is that-
Nope, that's the legend showing the different types of camps and lumbers, how many there are.
I looked at those back pages, I didn't,
That's a lot of pages.
is this part of the new submission or the old submission?
That's probably the old, then I brought the folder.
Here we go, typical tent size, typical RV center.
The old map,
Showing parking areas.
the site,
D.11.
Yeah, I see it.
Alright,
Oh, the third map in, fourth map in.
D.11.
picture of a cabin, because my question was,
You see it's typical cabin size.
yes, there's a definition in there.
100,000 square feet?
So the definition, you put it in there today, it's a small cabin not to exceed 16 by 20, and the big cabin not to exceed, I gotta look, 14 by 45 or something like that.
D.11.
But that doesn't have the big cabin. It
Down
only
the
has
bottom right there, there's a number, and it's like right here. So it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's like the fourth map in, it's D.11.
So you're saying this is a typical cabin size, but then there's a larger cabin too?
There's 5 large cabins.
Okay, that's the one that you said was what's the dimensions?
It's in the verbiage saying the dimensions, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Not a drawing of it.
Got it. Okay.
And the layout shows 2 different layouts, typical, because to be determined by layout of the land, it could be switched side to side.
I like your typical template.
What do you see, Bill?
You got typical template, and it's
I think the
blank
one
square.
above, the one above.
Because there could be 8 stumps here and a piece of grass there.
No, I get
They're
it,
gonna-
I get it.
But we're allowing them a square area.
I just, you know, very honest. We don't do anything. We
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
a
any
typical
sort of
template
a,
that's above the writing, it's not a blank square, it's got a picnic table, a parking space. Yeah, I just think it's,
so you, oh, okay.
no,
You don't have a tent platform or,
Yes.
oh, that's the up on top, okay. Maybe a fire pit.
You got garbage over there? Great, thanks. Nope.
No, we're going through it prior to our March study. Skip a minute,
All right, we'll go back there.
you must have it template.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's one more thing that's gonna be added to it, because like Jason's here tonight, because we're working on an evacuation plan, be hydrant compliant, get everything in line. So I brought Jason tonight, we talk about a few things.
Hi, Jason.
Hey guys,
How you doing?
well, yourself?
So are you here as the town fire chief, or are you here as, Jason?
I'm here as the town fire chief. Sorry, that was a bad introduction.
Yeah, I just think,
I'm working on my political correctness, it'll come.
So Gary reached out to me and asked me about the dry hydrant and if I could come over and we could kind of scope out where we could put them and what size fittings and things like that we would need to hook onto our trucks, and I told him absolutely. And he showed me the engineered plans as to where of a hydrant and whatnot, and obviously we wouldn't be wanting to put a hydrant in the actual Marston's pond, or I believe it's what's that pond out there?
They call it upper pond.
Upper pond, just because Marston's pond, in the past, before the campground even started doing what they were doing over there, I believe there was a hydrant in there at one point, but it's too shallow. And the pipe's always getting full of mud, muck, and, ultimately, you can't tell if there's mud or muck in there until you consume it into your pump, and then we get bigger problems.
Yeah.
So in that case, we use, suction and floating strainers on a ladder, and, you can basically see what you got going on if you're gonna be sucking mud and things like that. So, the stone retention pond that they have is what we're looking to put the dry hydrant in. One dry hydrant over there, I feel as if would be sufficient for that, considering we could use Marston's and the upper pond with what I'm stating as, suction pipe and floating strainers. As well as the water that we're bringing in with us. It's not like we're coming in with 10 fire trucks empty. On a normal response, we'd probably be pulling in there with 8,000 to 10,000 gallons of water. Plus what we need, out of the pond, given that whether one camper's on fire or there's 30 on fire or there's a woods fire, it's all possible. I'm not saying that there's never going to be a fire over there. I hope there's not, but and then it goes right back to whether it's a camper fire, whether the store's on fire, somebody's vehicle's on fire, it's a brush fire. There's many different incidents that could occur. But definitely that hydrant would be really sufficient. What I would ask is, once it was installed, is we would test it, to see, we put it through a pretty rigorous test of, we'd probably try to pump the pond down, which that would, I'm sure, recover rather quickly, but given the location of both ponds, I could pump out of one pond into the other, you know, so the water wasn't just being dispersed into wherever, but, if we could sustain 750 gallons a minute, 800 gallons a minute, that's more than ideal. And those are all, things that I would feel comfortable doing, you know, myself as well as the fire department. We touched base on an evacuation plan. I'm sure all of you in real life scenarios, you know, when something is really coming apart, you know, people run away from it, you know. I feel as if that's gonna cause more of a burden on response, you know. I think that's gonna, if you're trying to rush in there with fire trucks and you got, I don't know, a couple hundred campers and they're trying to come down Marston's Road or Senator Black Road, like, I just feel as if there shouldn't be evacuating the campground unless, you know, I can't even think of an incident. Like, I think there needs to be, when people check into the campground, you know, on their map or whatever, you may give them an area where you congregate. If in the state of an emergency, on the grounds of the campground, whether you congregate at the main office, which you need to have a secondary too, because what if the main office is on fire? You know, you can never be prepared enough, but I would rather see 200 people gathered in a big circle when I pull in there than trying to get up Senator Black Road and Marston's Road, you know, and having kids on bikes and, you know.
That was my big fear, Jason, was, you know, seeing somebody trying to get out their RV or their camper towed by a truck, and you guys trying to get in.
Right, exactly. You know, it's gonna be a burden to response, you know. It could be the matter of whether we put the fire out before it gets to the next camper, or, you know, things like that. But
if you were actually trying to get there, would you, if the roads were adequately improved, would you be able to come in through Brown Road? You know, because there's two entrances to the campground. So if you have people evacuating out the shorter distance down Marston Road to Senator Black Road, and because the fire department's up here, could you shoot down Brown Road into the campground?
you could certainly do that. A concern of mine would be where we have 3 different firehouses, and the town spread out. So, like, say there's an incident right now at the campground, you might have 6 guys that are on the fire department bringing the trucks out of the West Baldwin station.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe tomorrow you might have 6 guys bringing the trucks out of that firehouse. So, in hindsight, the guys bringing the truck out of the West Baldwin station aren't gonna drive all the way down to Brown Road to come in that entrance, you know, per se. And, in all honesty, with both entrances, there could be fire trucks coming in both entrances.
Yeah.
You know, when we have, let's use Senator Black Road as an example, a fire up in the middle, like a house fire up in the middle of that, we've got fire trucks coming from both entrances of Senator Black Road. It turns into a cluster in a hurry. It does not take very long, trust me.
Well, and I think that's what was our concern, or my, I think I'm gonna speak for myself, that my concern was that the applicant have written procedures as to what they expect to happen during
In the case of an emergency.
an emergency. If it's, you know, stay in place and shelter, or if it's something else. And then also, providing assurances that the road system, both internally and externally, is sufficient that if it does turn into a situation where you have two-way traffic, that you'll be able to access any part of the park or the campground.
Right.
Even if campers don't heed the stay and shelter order.
Right.
So if you're trying to go up to Upper Pond with fire equipment, that you'll have the ability to go up there, and given the nature of your equipment, you have to be able to come back down too.
Certainly.
And So, I think you should consider the safety of the width of the internal roads,
The road, and I believe the roads are being built to a town spec, correct?
not the internal.
Not the
roads.
internal.
The internal roads are vary 18 to 20 feet.
So, I mean, that's what I think we want you two to work on, is for you to be able to say, you've looked at the specs on the internal roads, you've looked at the procedures that they have prepared, and that you're comfortable that if the procedures are followed, well, the procedures in your opinion are best practice, whatever that is. Sounds like stay in shelter, and two, that, that even if you're confronted with the situation of less controlled environment, that you'll still be able to access the areas with the, because if we need to have them have wider roads, we need to know that now, not.
Exactly, absolutely.
So that's what I think we need, the dry pod is great, it's very helpful. Understanding your views on the evacuation plan is very helpful. I think we want the next step, we want to have those plans submitted, and we want your kind of blessing that the plan plus what you see internally is okay.
Certainly.
Is that fair enough to what?
That addresses most of my fears on that.
And I guess in a sense, as far as the internal roads, I'd feel more comfortable going up there and actually, maybe even taking a truck up there and driving the roads and,
Yeah, well, whatever you need to do, I mean, that's kind of why we're putting you two together. I think the last element that Joe may have kind of been alluding to is that the, on-the-site fire suppression is sufficient. So if they, I'm sure there's rules about fire extinguishers and fire permits and making sure that they have an adequate system for, self-fire suppression near the campsite. I think that's kind of the third element that we.
I'm under the understanding that you do have your own fire truck up there and whatnot. Obviously, it's no different than, I guess, you being a homeowner. Your house catches on fire or your yard catches, you're gonna take your garden hose, you're gonna try to do what you can do before the fire department gets there, and that's just the nature of, anybody's instinct. And I would hope that you would do that, but obviously, you and your staff need to know the limitations of, somebody getting hurt.
Yeah.
And also, if you got that and, Site 70 has a fire jump out of the pit and you end up with a 1 acre brush fire that you and a few of your employees contained. The fire department, whether you contained it and the fire's out, the fire department needs to be notified of that because there is a reporting system that we report to the state as far as, outside fires and such go, Doesn't mean, it could be a phone call to dispatch, a phone call to me, hey, we had a small fire up here, I'll come up and check it out, it takes the liability off everybody.
So we want those written down, those procedures, so we can tell, the citizens that, yes, we thought about that, yes, you have thought about that, and we've got that covered, so our firemen and women are, assured that we're going into a relatively safe environment as far as we can get ahead, so. Anything else, Jason? I mean,
Unless you guys have questions,
okay.
I'm here for.
Anything else on fire suppression, evacuation?
No, what we talked about too is we're gonna have the list of rules, and on the back side of the paper will be the evacuation plan, 2 different areas to congregate, whatever we pick out.
Okay.
We can put a layout of the land, we just want to make sure you guys have anything above what he wanted, so we can get it done in one shot.
Okay.
This may be in here, so I'm just gonna ask a question anyways. Are the roads, internal roads gonna be all one way, or are they gonna be?
You can double pass up there right now.
Okay. No, as far as the internal roads to different campsites and whatnot, are those?
Some campgrounds do one
No.
road.
Yeah, just.
Majority,
Okay.
there's a couple of spots on one way,
Okay.
very short little,
Right.
just turn in.
The
Everything
other
up there is
question
pretty much
is,
double
you
pass.
plan on having an intercom system that people can hear in case of emergency or, no?
We haven't talked about that, I don't.
I just,
believe-
it just
there's
nothing in my head.
Nothing in the plan for intercom system, I've never.
You probably have to have some warning system now, like a
alarm or something.
Whether it be a horn, you know, say a main horn, you know,
Right.
you know,
Just have more of a.
3 belches of the horn, you know, run to the office.
So, let's move off fire and evacuation and Jason, any, without, again, I don't wanna go too deep into this today, but is there any like big picture items that people are curious if they're in here or they see issues with? Yeah.
Yeah, we touched on this at the last meeting, and that was taking out a permit on a portion of a map and lot. And, that's okay, but I'd look to have, before we get into it, a legal opinion on what happens to the rest of the lot. I mean, can they then build a house on the rest of the lot, or 2 houses, or have a subdivision, or, I notice over here, Mr. Peavy, there seems to be a sale of land and a building going on a piece of property that has this conditional use permit, and that piece where the building is going on is covered by the conditional use permit. So, that was very confusing to me, that didn't seem right. And so I'd like to, before anything goes wrong, I'd like to know what wrong is. If you understand what I'm saying, you know, if you're taking out the conditional use permit for a portion of map 7, lot 22.
Yeah, I was under the
It had to be the whole lot. No, my understanding.
Well, I'd like a legal opinion on that, because I'm not sure that's what's going on in this
What
town.
you're looking at, it's like a project site, that's what we're not gonna go above and beyond what we're asking for, right? That's what we're asking for, is to
Oh, okay, I was unclear, and I thank you for helping me work my way through this. So does that mean that you can't do anything else on map 7, lot 22?
without getting a
That would have to
conditional use
be-
permit.
We talked about that.
conditional use permit.
You have to get, you have to have an amendment to the conditional use permit.
Okay, that's great, that's good. Could we, at some point, revisit Mr. Peavy's project over here, because that seems not to be congruent with what we're saying, Tom Peavy.
Well, I think,
Yeah, antiques, your friend.
I mean, I think that the CEO would look at that use and determine whether or not, the proposed change of the property is inconsistent with the requirements of the permit. That, for instance, if we required parking for the permit and the sale of property no longer allows parking, then that, I would think, nullify the permit. But if it's 1,000 acres and they're only using 5 acres and he's selling off some of the other 990, I don't think it's a problem. So I think it's specific to the parcel.
So then he's just saying, you're just saying now, differently than what I understood 2 minutes ago.
Because here, they're using the entire, because of the nature of the use, they're using the entire
They are
parcel.
using the entire,
Because they have the trail system and they have,
so if down over here they sold 2 acres and somebody built a house, would that be wrong?
is it on the same,
It's on the same map and lot number.
I would think it'd be wrong, yeah.
Okay, that,
And going just to our minutes from last week that I wrote down from Lee Feldman, he said that he considered the application for the entire lot, and any, a normal type of condition is for an owner to come back for approval of any expansion.
any change? Great, thank you, I'm sorry I missed it
No,
last meeting, but,
And I don't think this is crystal clear.
No,
I think if they did try to sell something that's part of the parcel,
Yeah.
we would say no, and then there would probably be a disagreement that would have to be settled somehow.
So when we come to making conditions, could we just make it clear by putting that in there?
Yeah.
Sure.
And there was even talk, Lee talked about helping you draft the condition for us around that.
Okay,
I mean, I don't think we should judge that condition until we get there.
Okay, okay.
I'm not gonna say we're never gonna do anything with the rest of the land,
Sure. No.
it's not fair.
Right.
I'm saying, we're going on this map,
Yeah,
we wanna, you know, build this area, we're not gonna exceed that.
yeah.
Down the road, say we run this for 5 years, 10 years, happy campground for everybody, we wanna expand, we have plans to do so.
And,
So I'm not gonna say I'm not.
well,
No,
it's
it's
a
just
question of
about
what
coming
you
back
have
and
to
having a
do.
conversation.
Exactly,
that-
I'm not gonna 5 years down the road say, oh, no, let's put some more sites in, you know, come down.
That's what we're talking about. He wants to put in something that says, if you make any changes to the lot, that you have to come back in to discuss those changes.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not saying that you're good, that you never.
That's all I want,
Yeah.
I don't wanna discourage you
Yeah.
from growing and
Yeah,
prospering.
no, that's
I want
fine,
you to grow and
that's
prosper.
known business anyway, that's fine.
It should say that this CUP is specifically for 157 acres of map 7 lot 22 as described in the CUP, and any development or activity or plans outside of those 157 acres are not covered by this CUP and would require a new
That's another way to do it. That's
CUP
another way to do it.
or revision to this CUP.
Yeah,
That's another way to do it.
No, don't think I'm trying to discourage you.
CEO has a
I know what you're
comment.
saying.
To add to this conversation and trying to project ahead, one of the answers to what Joe had said, if you have lot 22 and they chunk off, and that's covered by the CUP, whatever acreage is, and they chunk off 5 acres to sell, that 5 acres is no longer 22, it might be lot 22 acres, no longer 22, so you still have a boundary that 22 is stuck within, and the CUP
Right.
applies to.
But if you ask for, if you get a permit that covers the entirety of the lot, you can't fragment the lot without reopening the CUP.
Okay, I'm just putting a fourth opinion, you can go any way you want. Another aspect is keeping the campsite to 157 acres. You probably can do that in the physical objects of the campsite, but the people, they're gonna wander and stray and do things. So you probably, in that portion of the CUP and handling the people, you probably have to cover the whole
If
acreage.
there are trails and activities that go beyond this 157
That's right.
acres, then the definition of this portion in the 157 acres is incorrect.
Okay, so, and to compare that is the problem I have with insurance with my shop and my house. I couldn't insure my shop at one insurance company, the other one the house, and because the insurance company would be fighting, they said, where's the line between the two, you know, if a customer at the shop strayed onto the residential property and got hurt, who's gonna cover it?
Right.
So, the CUP does have to cover the whole 22, lot 22, and not just 157 acres.
I think the anomaly of this particular permit is that there are things, there are activities that are in the woods where there's not a substantial change to the existing environment.
Yep.
So they're not gonna cut down all the trees and make all the changes, but by the same token, somebody is going to hike into the woods and they're gonna use that portion of the property. Because I think what you'll find.
That's what I'm saying, I think when you do, with the straight, beyond 157 acres.
I have a problem with that because at one time, we were talking about whether there would be independent, different CUPs needed for the property if they were gonna have a rental business for, 4x4s or this or that. So I think it's a problem or a conflict if there are intended uses for the property, whether it's hiking or whether it's 4x4s or whatever it is, that go beyond these 157 acres.
But can I just, this is, the 157 is the development area where the campground is, the CUP that could include accessory uses is for the whole lot. Yeah, that's kind of how we parse that out.
And that may be my fault, it may be my fault.
That needs to be clear.
Well-
You're asking me to include my whole lot and map and only use a small portion of it. It kinda, so what I'm saying is, we're, building up this site, we're gonna use this right here, we're asking to use the whole site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Now-
And you're asking us to use the whole site.
Yeah.
Is this the whole 600 acres or something
No,
that
that's
he
not
owns?
this
That's
one.
150. Or no, what is it?
This is 157, this map 22, map 7, lot 22, vice versa, is 400 and something.
Well,
And that's what the permit's gonna
see,
cover.
I don't agree with that, because there are people that are gonna come in here, they're gonna go fishing, they're gonna go hiking, they're gonna go camping, they're gonna be renting 4x4s, and they're gonna be taking those 4x4s.
Not renting over. They're gonna
They're
use
not-
ATVs.
no, we
But
don't
they
have
can,
any-
they can drive the ATVs, yeah.
But they're gonna be driving the ATVs all around.
That's why the CUP covers the entire lot 22.
Okay, but I'm hearing two different things. I'm reading here from Gary that the CUP is this developed area of.
No,
The
no,
CUP is
no,
limiting
no.
the development
No.
to that particular acreage of the entire.
That's,
He's right, it's confusing.
Yeah, but
This is
Should we
confusing.
change it to say we're a 400 and something acre
Yes.
campground?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
That just makes it.
well, but here's the problem.
Yes,
We want
yeah.
to focus the development on a particular area, so they don't have camps throughout the
So-
entire,
So
they
you're
have
saying it's a
activities.
400.
right, but we want them to have to
Yeah.
come back when they expand
Absolutely.
157 acres.
And
of
it's
development.
157 acres developed
Right,
portion.
Right.
right.
So what I'm saying is we have all this acreage,
Well,
we're in the middle of it.
It can,
This leaves a buffer.
it can
to
do
protect
both.
everything.
It can say the CUP is for lot 22, which includes these 400 acres, and there will be activities on all 400 acres.
It does.
It specifically, the parts of the CUP apply to the 157 acres that will be developed.
No.
I just wanna make sure that the CUP is not specific to or limited to these 157 acres that are developed.
It is. So they are no, but
I'm confused now.
you're misunderstanding the project. So the project is a 157 acre campground on a 400 and change piece of property. And so they're gonna develop, they're gonna cut trees down, they're gonna put
Develop
roads in.
157 acres.
They're gonna develop that 157 acres. And they're telling us exactly where on the property and what's gonna happen to that 157 acres. The rest of the property is going to be unchanged
Right.
substantially. I mean, there may be like a trail or something, but they're not gonna develop the rest of the property. But it's part of the overall project. But we're forcing them to stay within the 157.
We aren't forcing them, they're forcing
No,
themselves.
well, we've asked them.
We're working with each other.
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable if the 157 acres were characterized in the context of the overall 400 acres in the CUP.
It will be.
So that it was clear that there will be activities, beyond the 157 acres.
It will be. Like, in the conditional use permit, it will be.
Where are those other acres?
What?
Where are those other acres?
Right here.
I mean, on the survey.
Maybe it says it later in here, I was just looking at this, because this just really, the description, the existing property, if you read this,
So like ATV use, it talks about permitted recreation, it talks about,
yeah,
a little bit further on page 4.
yeah, but nowhere does it say 400 some acres. The development parcel it says several hundred acres in size, and is shown
We're gonna
as
say
a
that in the
portion
conditional
of
use
lot
permit.
22.
You mean the conditions?
In the conditions, yeah, as I said, this covers this piece of property. I mean, I think this is a huge give by them. I guess I'm trying to understand why you're fighting against it. Because they're saying, we're not gonna do anything to the rest of the parcel
Without asking permission.
without asking permission. That's not in here.
We never asked you to cut back, did we?
Huh?
As a planning board, did we ever ask you to come in with something less than 300? You came in once with 300.
We came in the beginning with 600.
I don't think we,
No, you
Ever
didn't,
said-
you did not force
Well,
our hand in anything.
We
Yeah,
did say
We're
that.
trying to be less invasive.
you're putting your toe in the water to find out what it's like. If it works,
Like, we were
you'll be
cannonballing before,
yeah,
and we're walking in.
yeah.
This is my exact point here. Right now, when I read this, and I apologize if I don't see it all, I see the CUP as applying to this.
Yeah.
And what needs to be clear is that the CUP is for all of this, and that 157 acres are developed, but it applies to all 400 plus acres because all of this will be available for activities for all the people that are in here. And I wanna make sure that the CUP does not ignore, even though it's not developed, it shouldn't ignore the activities that may go on in the undeveloped portion.
I think we're way beyond that in this discussion, that there's no question the CUP will address the scope of the usage in the additional, because one of my biggest concern is if you have a camper who starts out in the 157, starts out in the middle and starts to walk. So how's the camper gonna know when to stop walking? And my biggest concern, or not my biggest, one of my concerns is at every trail, at the end of that trail, there needs to be a sign or some sort of marking that makes incredibly clear that you have no right to go beyond that moment in time.
Right.
And if they have agreements with landowners here, then it'll say something like, well, you're permitted to do that. And then that landowner has to come to us to get a conditional use permit because they're allowing a primitive activity under the ordinance, and they're gonna have to put signs on there. Absolutely, Jeff, there's no question.
But
I just
If you
wanna
wanna
make
walk
sure
on
that
my land-
concept is clear in there.
Maine has permissive trespass.
Yeah.
You may walk on my property.
Right,
You can't drive your ATV without my permission,
right.
but anybody can walk on my land.
Because
I let them,
Because you haven't posted it.
because I haven't posted it.
we can have that conversation when it comes time, but my opinion is that they're bringing hundreds of people to this property and that they need to tell those people where they can stop walking. Otherwise, you know, maybe you don't post your property, you know, when it adjoins a landowner. I don't wanna force the property owner to have to go out there and post their land just because they're building a campground right there.
I think that's the way Maine state law is set up.
We can have that discussion, but that's not the way I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the guy that owns this 300 something acres up here actually did approach us and said that we could have people hike on his land.
And we'll have to figure out what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get the issue, I'm just sensitive to the
We're not
fact that
going
they're
to,
bringing
he did offer it. So-
hundreds, if not thousands of people to this 557 acres, and they're gonna go out. You know, they're gonna go out.
Yeah.
And how do they know when to stop?
I've always felt about my land that if I come along, you know, next week, and I don't know anybody who was there, why do I care that they were ever there? And that's why I'm concerned about ATVs, motorbikes, that sort of thing, that you do know somebody was there.
Right.
But for people to walk around, cross-country ski, snowshoe, I don't know.
Well, we can have that discussion when we talk about the permit. It's probably one of the tougher issues on how to
It's
address
an
it.
interesting issue, I'll think about it.
Because one way to look at it is that they're getting a conditional use permit for a primitive activity, hiking or something like that, which is a conditional use under the ordinance. So once somebody crosses their land, does it then become a general main access issue? Or does the primitive use of this place carry forth to some other property? I don't know the answer.
I think the issue and our responsibility on this issue might be about insurance, because of Maine's, if they pay, you pay. If somebody's on Gary's project and they trip on a root and fall, Gary's insurance company pays.
Right.
If they cross over onto my land and they trip and fall, that's their problem.
Yeah.
So,
Maintain no fault.
so it may be an insurance issue that the town should feel responsible for, because we don't want people coming to nature's wilderness, straying off the land where they have insurance and they assume they're insured.
They should be notified.
So I can see it on that level.
You triggered one thought, and that is that you had said you're getting these people that are neighbors of yours to sign off on the fact that it's okay that you guys, improve and maintain the roads.
That was just a gentleman's agreement, to show it.
That's fine, but if you're gonna do that, there needs to be a hold harmless clause with the town where the nature's wilderness takes on the liability, of all those roads.
And that's the agreement we started with. That's why I asked Dwight, is that agreement in place? And the answer was no, so the application cannot be complete without that agreement. The hold harmless indemnity is part of that agreement,
Okay,
how the relationship is.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't use lawyerly terms.
Hey,
like that,
you
know.
perked my ears up, yeah. So, I mean, I understand your issue, and there's no question we have to make sure that the entirety of the property is addressed. I think this comes to us in response to some of our discussions. I don't think it was meant to have them convey to us that they were only talking about 157.
Okay.
I think the focus is on the 157 because that's where 90% of the action is, but the entirety of the lot is in play. And that was something we went back and forth.
There's been a lot of debate about that, yeah.
And the reality is that people won't get more than 10 feet off of their little campsite most of the time. They're gonna go have a nice time and drink beer and.
You know, with the new coolers now, you can go a good hour away.
But you have to pull them with you, that's the problem.
If you had cold for an hour.
Dude, did you have something? You were.
I have
What are you doing?
another point.
Yeah, go for some comment.
Move us along.
We were down.
And so this might have been brought up before, but I knew, I see that there's a reference on page 3 to quiet time. You know, one interest in other people I talk to, some concern about noise. So, do you have established quiet hours?
I believe that would be in the ACA rules for camps. They have written guidelines of what it should be. And that was supposed to be printed out and put in here as well.
Okay.
I know it's in
You
our
know,
minutes.
it's up to
11 o'clock or?
We did
We
talk
talked
about
hours.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't know off the top of your head what it might be?
I don't off the top of
I
my
mean,
head.
you talked about ATVs being limited to 7 a.m. to half an hour after sunset.
As a response to a discussion.
Well,
Yeah, previous discussion, yeah. So maybe, if you could bring those guidelines, the ACA guidelines.
Yeah, they were supposed to be I asked him to print them off and put them in here, and I see they're not here. He references them right here. He says, see ACA.
I'm trying to click on that, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So are you saying that, you are agreeing to abide by those rules?
Oh,
I mean, those are just guidelines, right?
It's guidelines, and we'll come up with something that's friendly to be.
We agreed on it.
I believe we did. I thought
Not for
it
the, I didn't think we did for the quiet time, I thought we did for
hours of operation.
hours of operation.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But we changed that though.
ATV. And we'll talk about all that, too, like, yeah. But so what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing the road deal, the emergency plan, it's called the emergency plan.
We did say hours of operation, and we said 24/7, May 1st, October 31st.
Right, we changed that.
So I'm seeing road deal, emergency plan, ACA guidelines, there's three kind of glaring, needs to make this complete.
That's why I came tonight on the 28th, I didn't have.
Well, I'm sure there's more.
Yep, but I'll have 3 off the list.
Yeah.
I think one of the hard things about this is that we've been at this for 2.5 years now. And normal, rules or guidelines for behavior of planning boards is that you shouldn't deal with an application that you haven't been at every meeting that touched on that application. And we've had planning board members resign, retire, come on board, live and die in the time that this is taking, have babies, yeah.
Lose their appendix.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's one of the things that's made it difficult because, perspective has changed, I mean, it's just, that's been part of what's made it difficult for us, difficult for me to look at this.
I agree. And I don't want any more changes to that. Like, you can add exhibits.
Right, the only changes to that are based on the notes that we did from the previous meeting.
No, I'm saying, this is your final, you're done with this information. You can add a couple exhibits, like the road deal, the emergency plan, and the ACA guidelines, but I don't want you resubmitting this again, like, this is it.
That's it.
So we hand changed the 157,
Not unless you shred this one for me.
I've been trying to get that control, but you won't give it up.
this is the file. So, excellent, okay, anything else we can deal with while we're here?
Have we done the sidewalk? Or
No,
schedule? I think
no.
everything must have.
Snow meadow.
done.
Yeah, so in terms of procedure, what we're looking at is, and hopefully Lee J can be here next time, can you contact him and, make sure he's gonna be here next time?
He did say last meeting he was planning on it, but we should.
Yeah, we weren't planning on really going over this, at the
Today,
last meeting.
yeah,
So I don't think we plan on being here.
Yeah.
So that-
Right, we just got this done, see if they give you guys an extra 2 weeks,
no, that's
give
cool.
us close to 2 weeks.
Can you get a copy to reach it?
We already, yeah.
Yeah.
You said John Whitten should have sent it, but you're
I
not sure.
believe they did, we were talking about that in
Just
just office
confirm.
today.
It's already in our minutes, but you're gonna make sure it happens.
So,
Yes, I am.
so where was I going? So what I think the preliminary idea is to next week have a meeting, maybe call this complete, maybe not, depending on what it is. The next step would be twofold. One, to hold a public hearing, and two, to have a site walk. And there's some question which one needs to happen, what time. Like, some people say during the site walk it's best to do it first, so then people know what they're looking at when they look at the documents. Other people are like, have the public hearing on the documents and then have a site walk. So we were gonna have a site walk early on just to get it done, because we can't accept the permit, we can't vote on the CUP until we have a site walk. So really now we're just trying to figure out how to plan this. And I think the next meeting, we'll figure out where we're at, and if we can plan a site walk, do it, but I think the snow's gonna be here. We could plan a public meeting or not. I mean, I don't wanna prejudge what the next meeting's going to entail. If the application's not complete, technically, we're not supposed to do either one. And then once we have the site walk and the public hearing, then we can vote discuss the conditions and vote on them. That can take one or more meetings. It's supposed to be done within like 45 days of completeness, unless the applicant waives that, which we've had applicants waive it because it's better to vote on a thoroughly discussed plan than not. So we're really just, even though we've been at this for 2 years, we're really at what most of the time is the starting of the permit process. So yeah, so that's, does that, yeah.
Great. Yeah, let's make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's on this and make sure we do it right.
Yep.
Notifications with the right amount of time and all of that stuff, because we don't wanna get caught having done this one wrong. There are a lot of people there are people in town who are very interested in this. I've been talking by people.
Yep.
You know, I wanna make sure they know they had their say. And they got to listen and they got to participate and all that.
I'm looking forward to that, getting them in here, to finally get that rolling, so we can start either working with or remedying what we have to do. So, like he mentioned in the site walk, before or after public meeting. The site walk, I mean, you can go up there and see there's a couple buildings and roads, but there's really nothing else to look at except the layout of the land.
But there will be.
What's that?
There will be before the sidewalk. There'll be something to look at
You will be putting stakes in the ground.
to give us a better idea of where things are. It's helpful for us. And we'll probably ask you to kind of mock up something so we can look at what a site will look like. Just not the
Not
stuff,
every single one,
but like stakes in
just
it,
the
like
big site,
yeah,
little site.
exactly.
Yep.
It's like just put a rock somewhere and say that's what that
Picking table into the picking table.
Exactly.
That's
That's what
mock
the
up each
sidewalk
site
provides.
easy.
Yeah,
We can do
that's
that, file that back, and we're good to go.
All right, so anything else that we can deal with Nature's Wilderness today besides delving into the application? Yes, sir.
I think reading through this, I didn't see anything on security at night. Are you gonna have any night security there? Okay, what it is a lot like.
There'll be staff on site, I wouldn't say security, but there'll be staff.
Sometimes they got a golf cart, the guy rides around with a golf cart, he's checking fire pits.
Well,
He's
that's
checking
what I
for
mean by
people,
staff,
he's checking for people that are being loud.
There'll be at least one person, probably more, on site 24 hours a day.
Is it the same guy from Trailer Park Boys, that guy?
We can only hope.
Yeah. All right, so.
I didn't get that same joke in the minute from last week.
No, I'm gonna make it every time. No, I didn't get it 2 weeks. Mr. All right, so let's move on from this. Thank you very much, and, you said, so, we're done with Nature's Wilderness. So the only other thing that I'm aware of before we close is to go through the minutes and vote on the minutes and have a motion.
I move we approve the minutes of the last meeting as submitted by email.
Second.
Third.
Vote? All good? Unanimous? All right, anything else that we need to deal with? Yes, Jeff?
I would like to put on the agenda for the first meeting in April, as required by our bylaws, that we have an election of officers.
So noted.
I'm running for chaplain.
Who's running for secretary?
You are. You're running away.
It's a thankless job, isn't it?
Matt's back. He's a lot more organized than I am.
Buddy. That's why it's funny. It wouldn't be funny if it was really funny.
That was my only concern.
Okay. So noted. Next.
So while I may be the secretary indefinitely, I will be in the Caribbean on the 28th. So I know that we are talking about a meeting where there
Yes, Skype.
might be a lot of minutes. No. And there may be public notices and things that have to happen too, so I think it would be great if we could talk about who might take on being responsible for something. Cause if we decide to do, notice in the shopper's guide or some of those things, that's something I would normally do.
I won't be here on the 28th either.
You want?
No.
Oh, you know.
Well, now you do.
Okay.
So we voted two against for the 28th.
He was gonna be here until he heard somebody have to take minutes and maybe do a public
Yeah, I heard that one. I don't think you have to, we probably can't have a public hearing, even if we declared things complete on the 14th, is it? Or the 11th. We wouldn't have enough time to notice a public hearing for you on the 28th.
Doesn't a sidewalk have to come before the public hearing?
No, it doesn't say in
The chicken or the egg?
Doesn't say in the rules one or the other.
I think it's true in our
The
history.
way we have always done it has been.
To do the sidewalk first.
Yeah.
I think it's at least recent history, because I would
Because
agree with
the
Mike that he
sidewalk
said that,
triggers.
like 10 years.
It informs what you're talking about.
That's right. Thank you.
I know we've talked about this before, but having people up there beforehand, like the people that are concerned and wanna know, I'd love to have them come up there.
Yeah.
Love to meet with these people.
It's great to have it when you have a public announcement and because, I mean, it really works well.
I agree with that, but it's gonna take more than one meeting and one sit down.
Really?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Matt, you gonna be here on the 28th, for sure?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, you gonna be here?
On which date?
28th?
I won't be here on
Yes, I
April
will be here on
11th.
the 28th. I will not be here on the 11th.
But I don't want to.
Yeah, cancel your trip. That's all.
I'm canceling the trip.
It might have gotten canceled for me, I was flying a lot of, 737.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's bad for you?
Going on a plus
I want
8,
that
are you?
as my priority.
A max 8?
No, they all got, well, I'm flying a couple times in the next few weeks, and they were all on those planes, so we'll see that.
Well, I think we have to plow forward on the 28th.
Yeah.
Can you get Lee here and?
Well, you want him here on the 14th, on the 11th. The 11th, our next meeting, right?
The 28th is our next meeting.
28th is next week.
Oh, March, it's the 28th of April, I won't be.
Oh, March 28th.
Yeah, March 28th, I'll be here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the 28th of March, I would be.
You mean the 25th of April?
I didn't know when I said the 28th that people would assume the following one, not the current one. Forgive me.
Yeah, I have an eye appointment on the 25th, I may be short-sighted at that point. And I get my haircut on the 24th.
Oh, you get the day off after that.
Takes a while.
I mean, where the camera is, make sure they do the back.
Yeah.
They don't really do that anymore, exams.
The
They don't
evaluation.
Some
Someday. They do a lot.
I had an exam yesterday, they dilated me, and I'm trying to get.
I do every time.
So I feel like I did a good job of notifying you
I
all.
look like
Where
it
they don't
happens
have
to me.
to-
My pupils are always big.
We
But I
did a
look
good
like
job
I'm
of
not
dancing around
doing
anyone
that
taking
now.
responsibility for
They
this.
just, they're so huge.
All right, so we're gonna plow forward. Secretary, we will take care of it. At worst, I will do it. At best, somebody else will do it. Good.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you for letting us know.
Otherwise, it's gonna feel really guilty on the work.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
I wanna be there. Any other issues that need to be addressed before we
You're like a
call it? Excellent. Well, let's everybody date this thing that we just got. What's today?
Yeah.
3/14/19, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.